En Lindie het vroeër gesels in die week gesels toe ons het opgeneem haar gesprek met Brian Duffield Business Lunch with Coach Lindie. Kom ons hoor waaroor die gesprek gegaan het.
So Christy and listeners, this morning I am thrilled to have a conversation with Brian. Brian, you're the founder and owner of Rental Recipe, Brian Duffield. Welcome. So lovely to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Old friends we are, right?
Absolutely. We go back a long time.
I know.
All good news.
You know, you're such a seasoned person in business. I mean, you've done so many things and you've been around to places. And so this morning we're going to explore some of your adventures. So tell me, Rental Recipe, where did it all start for you? Take us back.
All right. So I was obviously in the corporate world, as most men are, and just found at the end of the day that you're working particularly hard for companies that don't always appreciate you. And what happens is that you say to yourself, wouldn't it be nice to work for myself one day where I'm the CEO and I can do it my way? And for a long, long time, the idea came, what would be that perfect opportunity? And I think real estate allows us to work hard, earn hard, and have the vision you want. And so it was natural that I would go into real estate sooner or later. And I was at Beacon Sweets and Chocolates at the time and had spent 7 years with them and done very well. But I could see lots of issues sooner or later in the political arena at 29, all my staff being so much older than me. And I just said to myself, it's time to go into real estate and go and make the money we want to. And it meant that we could go home to Durban again. Durban's where I'm from, and I love the people, love the culture. And I thought, get me out of Johannesburg. I need to get back home, and this was ideal.
Go back to your roots, right?
Absolutely. And so I got back to Natal, joined a very nice company down there, Unique Estates.
And so when was this? How many years ago was this?
1983.
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
long time
what is
ago.
that now? What,
yes.
41 years ago?
42, 3 years ago.
Oh my
yes.
goodness. Okay, so back to KZN, back to your roots.
I can't tell you I'm 25. It's not going to work.
Well, you sound very young. But listen, we don't have to talk about age at all now, shall we? So you go back and you join which company?
Unique Estates.
Okay, so in the real estate you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
A little company with 2 branches, 3 directors, lovely people.
Okay.
And I ran the Berea branch, and the Berea branch went from a failing branch to a successful branch. And then we opened up a further 3. We ended up with 5 branches. I was made a director, but I knew I'd always be that 12% director. And I wanted the CEO.
You wanted it all. Of course. We don't want half measures.
No.
And I mean, that ties up with who you are, Brian. You never the glass is half full. You always half empty.
Empty, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you want it all. Okay, so what happened?
And funny today, and you'll see at the end of this discussion, life for me now is all about sharing, so it's completely turned around.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I then went out on my own, and I had a restraint of trade, and so I couldn't work in all the beautiful areas I'd worked in for months and years.
Which you've built long relationships and networks.
Can you imagine?
That's tough,
Berea in Durban, Morningside, Durban, big business.
Yeah.
So I went up to Little Hillcrest in Assegai.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And started out there, and we built the company. And then on a holiday in Johannesburg, met an old friend. And he was getting elderly, and he said, Brian, I need you to join me in my business as a partner. He had 2 franchises with Status Mark. And I went up to Johannesburg. So I ran this company 1 week Johannesburg, 1 week in Durban.
Oh my goodness.
And it was hard. It was really trying, but it was fun, and I got to bought a lovely home in Johannesburg, so I'd live between the 2 cities. And at the end of the day, decided there was only one way, give up Natal and let's do Joburg properly. And yes, it was fun, and we grew this great company. And then one day, I decided, after many, many years in real estate, it's time to get out of Sunday work, Saturday work. We had at one stage 89 estate agents, and you just never get time off. Lindy, they don't give you a break.
Rings.
They don't
never
give you...
stop ringing, right?
So you say to the girls on the week, you say, girls, this Saturday, can I please watch rugby? And they say, sure, we won't contact you.
But that's when the offer comes in and the buyer wants to sign, eh?
I can't close. Like Will you please come and help me?
Oh, my goodness. That's so funny.
So I gave that up to look at something different. And then we went into the ladies' clothing game, which is exciting. It's fun. We traveled internationally. We bought clothing internationally, and we loved it. But we never made money. We lost money due to some darlings overseas. But now we lost in one particular month. We lost over R1 million, just through product arriving here in the wrong sizes. The product was made up in Indian sizes. Our Haneli was my 36 model. And at that stage, the clothing that should have fitted her fitted a 28 fitting. And it was difficult. So we decided after 6.5 years, what do you know best? And real estate was always my game. Forget whether you work Saturdays, Sundays or not. That was it.
And all of a sudden, it didn't seem such a big ask again.
Absolutely.
So, Christy, when we come back, of course, exploring how it happened that, Brian made a full turn and came back to real estate. I'm sure at that stage, opening up Rental Recipe. We'll be back just now.
Ons is besig met Business Lunch met Lindie en sy gesels met Brian Duffield van Rental Recipe. Vroeër die week met hom gesels. Kom ons hoor wat hulle te sê gehad het.
You know, my mind's still reeling, Brian, losing R1 million in a day. And how must that have felt for you? So what happened next? And maybe for the moment, just before you answer, Rental Recipe, maybe just for the listeners, tell everyone, what do you do? What does Rental Recipe do? So we can just have that context.
All right. Rental Recipe ideally was a rental company based on the very old reason, not working Saturdays and Sundays, okay? And it's a market which is neglected by the majority because it doesn't pay as well as sales. And so we took it on because we love that neck of the woods, and it's been good to us, very kind to us.
Okay, so Rental Recipe, it's in the name. But I'm still with you losing R1 million. So how did you end up starting Rental Recipe in this beautiful London?
So I joined a company, we'll leave the name out, but I joined a local company and I started looking after the rental division for that company. What then happened was, Han and I said, we're not going to get involved in the ownership and get involved in the management. We're just going to work for someone. So we did that for a while and we ran rentals. And then one day, very soon after we started, we were highly successful. This owner came to me and said, we want to take over the rental division. We'll make you a manager, but it's no longer your company. I said, not going to happen, not going to happen. So I was in affiliation to that company where I work for myself, but work with them. And what then happened was we went out on our own, never to look back.
And when was this now?
This was in 2008.
2008.
2008.
Okay, and that's when. And did you then started here, or was it still in Joburg?
No, here.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But,
okay,
in
you came
Cape
here
Town.
and you started
in Cape Town. Yeah.
So of course, again, you've been around the block and back. What except losing R1 million, what has been some other challenges in business, Brian, that you can relate with?
All right. So real estate goes up and down, as we all know.
And you guys do sales as well now.
Yes,
it's not
we do.
just rental, very much sales as well, right?
Yes, indeed. But let me tell you, it goes further. The area that we never, ever expected to go into in a big way is body corporates.
Oh, okay.
But body corporates, Lindy, so badly handled by our opposition. Really, I don't know why it is the case, but we find so many of them just don't do it well. I'm at a cocktail party last night talking to an owner of a huge company, and he says, we don't do body corporates. It's too much like hard work. And it is. It really is.
Okay.
However, if you do it well, it's so appealing.
Oh, lovely.
Because if you have that architectural flair or that desire to design and color and fix, then body corporates work. So our company at the moment is lots of rentals, a little bit of body corporate, which we'd like to expand on.
Okay, lovely.
And then, of course, a new company, PQ Squared, which is real estate in joint ownership. But we'll talk later.
We'll talk about that, yeah. So literally have your fingers in a whole lot of pies.
Absolutely.
So what are some challenges that you guys are experiencing from day to day?
Trustees in body corporates.
Well, dealing with people, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of decision makers sitting around the table, everyone wanting their little, I don't know, thing going. They've got some agendas going. I don't know.
Lindie trustees sometimes put up their hands at AGMs and they get chosen. And quite frankly, they shouldn't be there. And honestly, if they left it to the professionals, one could achieve so much more.
Yeah, and properties would be so much better managed, right?
Absolutely.
So of course, there's also in business lessons learned.
Yeah.
So what would some of those be, Brian?
Never go into clothing.
Or never order from India, right?
Or never order
or
from
China,
India.
Or wherever.
Absolutely.
Have it locally made.
The problem, Lindie, was locally we were just getting too big. And so the CMTs from Cape Town were saying, we can't get the volumes out.
Oh, my goodness.
And then you'd get your spring material in summer and your summer in winter. And you can't do that. Clothing is so specific.
But, I mean, the lesson learned is certainly that timing in business is everything, right?
Absolutely.
You've got to act on an opportunity.
Absolutely.
But then, be careful because timing is a real thing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you've got a big team that you lead, and so who's your ideal target market? What makes you excited about still being in the real estate business?
Now you're getting onto my new passion.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So I opened a company called PQ Squared, and you'll know it very well if I'm allowed to say so.
You're welcome. We are part of that.
Yes. Lindie's hubby's a director with me, and Lindie's a shareholder with us. And we have 20 shareholders. We run a company that's vision is to develop lots and lots of assets to be shared by lots of great people. Now, what happens is I meet young families where people are 36 to 40 and they've never owned a property. That's sacrilege because if you can't get in on your own, get in with people that understand the business.
Yeah.
And it's working. So, Lindie, in the last couple of weeks, and I'll be sharing that with you soon, we've just signed up people from England, two from England.
That's fantastic.
And the truth is the pounds that they produce don't make our fees expensive.
Yeah, but it's shared ownership, so there's no real risk.
No.
But you give normal folks out there an opportunity to own a share in a property consortium of sorts, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Lindie,
and I can see
know,
you're so excited just about the idea of it.
Lindie, we don't owe 1 cent to anybody.
Oh,
there's one building at the moment which the directors have financed themselves, so we'll call that a debt of sorts. But every other property is bond-free. So when COVID arrived, it didn't hurt us because we were able to reduce our rents, let the people stay on. All we needed to cover was a levy and rates and taxes.
Well, Christy, listening to Brian, what strikes me most about Brian is your passion. But dare I also say a complete honest person that's willing to call a spade and be completely transparent about who you are and how you do business. And I love that about you, Brian. So we'll be back straight after this.
Ons is besig met 'n business lunch met coach Lindie en sy gesels met Brian Duffield van Rental Recipes. Sy het vroeër met hom gesels in die week. Kom ons hoor so vir oulaas wat hulle te sê het so laaste segment.
So Brian, a seasoned businessman, but certainly you have loads of advice for, wannabe entrepreneurs out there, but also advice that you can give for people out there around real estate and owning property. So, share with us some of your great advice.
All right, so my advice is get into real estate today. Folk, don't consider that you have to buy it all on your own. Don't consider, do I qualify my salary? Have I been in business long enough? Have I got a perfect track record? You need none of that when you enter a business like PQ Squared, where there are 20 of us and there are going to be 50 soon. When we have 50 shareholders with 50 properties and more, what a gift it shall be that you all of a sudden own a large percentage of property in the Western Cape.
Yeah, that's not bonded. There's no liability and risk. But here's the important thing. You're growing your personal balance sheet.
Yes.
So amazing. And that gives you the key to financial freedom going forward, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
But you also mentioned, what about advice for wannabe business owners out there? I mean, you've done it now a couple of times yourself. So what would be some great advice for anyone wanting to start their own business?
Well, folk, I've just seen, real estate exposes us to lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
And I've seen something of late that so many men in their 50s and girls are just finding that there's not a big future for them out there. So my advice to you is get into your own business today. Start in a small way, cut your overheads, live according to your cloth, and start to work for yourself. It's abundantly clear to me that that's what we should be doing. You cannot arrive today 60 and 65 is young. You arrive at 60 years of age and someone looks at you and says, it's time to retire.
Your life you've got a whole life still left, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and why do it according to other people's rules? I don't get it.
You got it, Lindie. I say simply get out there and back yourself. And the sentence I'd like to share with you, in my honest opinion, get a power team behind you. Make sure that you associate. If you're not an architect, know a good architect. If you're not a plumber, electrician, or a painter.
Or an accountant.
Correct.
Or a business coach. I mean, get some good advice.
Get Lindie.
Get Lindie.
I got Lindie.
but Brian, it's so, because none of us has got all the answers. But in collaboration and being part of a power team, we're so much stronger because we synergistic and we can collaborate on knowledge.
Lean on each other. That's what it's all about. That's the secret.
Of course.
In a soccer squad, you don't get 11 centre forwards. You get one centre forward and a whole lot of others.
And we play as a team.
Correct.
And collectively we can win the league.
Yeah.
You are such an inspiration, Brian. What gives you hope for the future?
I feel very confident that things will get better and better. And I have one beautiful thought in my mind, and that is that if you come into real estate cannot be hampered by a politician or anybody else. Real estate goes up each and every year. Bricks cost more, land costs more, salaries go up. So can real estate really go backwards? The answer is no. It might take a short-term negative swing, but it will swing back. So get into real estate, phone me, have coffee. I'm available for you anytime.
And I mean, you love a chat, right?
Oh, absolutely. God help myself.
Brian, it looks like you've only started. I mean, it's, I can't help to think that I haven't even seen the best of you yet. Honestly, you and Hanley are such a power team. It's amazing. But dare I also say, I think what I'm taking from you in terms of hope for the future is back yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Be your own captain of your own ship. Determine your own destiny, right?
Bottom line, have faith, move forward, and get the help you need. But do not allow anyone to stand on your head and make you feel lesser. Never.
Or even get in your head.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Brian, you know what? I think in the end, I just want to wish you and Hanley all the best for Rental Recipe, for PQ Squared, for doing this amazing work. I mean, you're heading a real estate company out there that's ethical, that's, do business in an ethical, transparent way. And you're so friendly, man. How can I not smile when I have a conversation with you?
Thank you, Lindie.
Of course.
Is there any other way?
Well, you ask.
No.
Any other parting thought before we end off this amazing interview? Anything else that's on your heart?
Get off your butt and go fetch it. That's it.
Well, there we go. And I always have this saying, like nobody is coming. Don't wait for people or someone else to come and fix what needs to be fixed. Go out there, grab it and make it your own.
Bottom line.
I love talking to you today, Brian.
Thank you, Lindie.
And, I really wish on you the grace of the Lord and may your business be blessed in the same way that you bless so many other people. For you and Hanley, all the best for the years going forward.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute blessing. And I really look forward to big things in the future.
Yeah.
May PQ Squared just blossom.
There we go. What else can I say? Thank you so much, Brian.
Okay.